Hello, everyone, and I hope you had an awesome long weekend. I just wanted to find out, did you stress a little bit over the weekend about the selling you had to do for the future? Maybe you're someone who just actually hates picking up the phone. Well, today is Tuesday, and that can only mean that it is the Better Business Place live show. My very special guest today is going to teach us on how we can have conversations with people that generate great sales without actually selling. So please join me in welcoming Misty. And as she just goes to say hi, I'm just going to read out quickly her bio. So Misty Henkel is a sales trainer, and she's probably one of the most excited people I know and loves selling in the entire world. She's a believer in the sole trader, the small business owner, and she believes that those people need to have the skills necessary so they generate their own income for themselves. And she does that by teaching them how to have one-to-one conversations with a current list of clients to generate more sales. Good morning and welcome, Misty.
Hey, hello, Glenn. How are you?
Mate, I am sensational. I've had a great long weekend and I'm looking forward to the week. And some of that involves selling. So hopefully you're going to teach us some stuff on selling. Before we get into it, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about who Misty is?
Okay, all right. So I'm a mum. I live in Canberra, and I'm a mum. I've got two boys, 8 and 10. Have a husband, and for the last year, we've got a dog who's been locked out of the room this time. So I've got a golden retriever. So just like a normal person, but I love selling. So I started sort of in the sales industry back when I was 18. I was a barmaid for 10 years, so selling beer and food, and then moved into retail with furniture, Apple computers, worked at call centers, so everything to do with talking to customers. But there was a few things that I'd noticed in regards to some selling that seems to be just the same across the board. Doesn't really matter what job that you've got. And then it was about 8 years ago. I was here in Canberra, and I went to my very first networking event. So I was doing something else at the time, and I thought, wow, here's the secret to all sales that's missing in the hospitality and the retail industries. Why does no one know about this? And so trying to sort of look at a networking event. I mean, if ever there was a place where you'd get referrals, it's going to be when you're out networking. I mean, if I was selling mattresses, like beds, furniture at the time, and I said, oh, yeah, so I sell mattresses, like there would be a room full of people who would have listened to me and probably would have needed one, So it was such a great spot. And so I thought, well, if this is, I can see this as the secret to really the secret component to all sales, so increase sales. So what I did was I decided to book myself into every single networking event I could possibly find in that first year that I discovered it, and see how, sort of work out how do we get sales from networking, like what is it that's going on for these sales to come about. And so very quickly I was dubbed the networking queen here in Canberra. So still got the title. It's been 8 years, got my crown. So you see it on Facebook, got my crown. And and then run classes on how to get sales from networking, but mostly I help with that whole overcoming sales anxiety, how to use your current list of contacts, how to convert your current list of contacts, and sort of sales, make it easy to sort of flow from there.
Now, we met at a networking event. That's when I first got aware of you. I mean, do you remember back to that event?
Oh yeah, it was a BNI event. I wanted to join the chapter, and of course at the time I was going in just as a coach in that sort of life coaching realm. And here in Canberra we had 5 chapters at the time, and they were having a big sort of showcase event. And you had come down, and you were the MC and the speaker. And from the moment you started speaking, I'm like, I seriously have to join this thing. Like, I really have to. And at the time, I literally didn't have anything to sell. I joined BNI. I was with BNI for 3.5 years, and I didn't have anything to sell at the time. I knew that I taught sales, and I knew that by the time I finished talking to someone or having a one-to-one, I knew that that other person would start selling. But I didn't have an official class that I'd created. I had no talk, nothing. I just knew. So I actually went out networking to sort of work out the system. Collected a network. I spent 3.5, 4 easy over 4 years collecting people, and then go, okay, now I'm going to do a talk on sales. And it was interesting from that moment, because I had people to tell I'm going to do that talk. The sales were already sitting right there. So often the sales are there if we've got people to tell about it. But if we don't have anyone to tell, which initially I hadn't been able to do any talks before. But yeah, I remember that event. I almost remember the whole event, the whole hour and a half, like word for word, the games that you played, all the different things. And I was determined to win like every little competition you had. So I won a book, something you'd written. And yeah, no, I loved it. And at some other events, I've requested, can we have Glenn speak at that? Can we have Glenn speak at that? And we're like, well, we've heard Glenn speak before. Doesn't matter. The talk was so good, that's what got me on the path. So, I loved it.
I remember driving down the night before, and whilst I still help people and build referral programs for them or show them how to generate more business through referral, I don't do so much speaking, and that's a part of what I'm currently doing that I miss. Because for me, I didn't realize until many, many years later on, but it wasn't standing up and being a stage tart, right? It was more about the connection that I got from people then. And I've learnt that over that particular time of speaking in front of people, that the more vulnerable that I actually put myself in, the more connection that I created. And unless you create that connection with people, it doesn't really matter what you say. All right. And so I've recently just gone through a process of re-engaging my network or audience or all those business cards. And rather than just going straight to selling, I went to, hey, let me just find out how you doing. All right. Because, you could kid yourself sometimes in sort of saying, hey, I've got something and I need to tell the world about it. And then it's sort of going, you know what? I think I actually have to build that relationship first. Is that what you noticed during, I guess going around and to networking events and the difference between just networking and then there's also selling component? Because a lot of people go to networking events, but
they don't do the follow-up. So in the end, they're not really getting anything. They go, that networking thing didn't work. Well, it's not that it didn't work. It's that you're not doing any work. Turning up is not the same. If you don't have anything, I know BNI, this is what it taught me, right? Because you have to turn up every week. So it's basically a 50-week course, right? 50-week business course on how to get referrals from a group. If at the end of the year, and you're consistent, you're turning up, you're running your 30 seconds, you will have gotten a couple of presentations. If by the end of the year that you don't have any referrals come to you, let it be known. It's not because you're not a nice person, it's because you're failing to do something. It's not because the group doesn't like you or the group's not doing something. It's you're failing to do something. And so it's a matter of working out, what is it that you're not doing? Interesting you say about vulnerable. So it takes in the sales, it takes 3 to 7 times.
Don't give away any secrets. We'll get into that.
I wasn't giving away secrets. I was just going to add something. But I was just going to say, just in regards to being vulnerable, I'm like that too in regards to just basic connections. So this isn't really giving away anything because it's not written in my things to do, but just basic stuff I'll just tell you is it takes 3 to 7 times for someone to hear your message before they start to sort of head towards you, and sort of they'll talk themselves into your product. And so products and services actually sell themselves, but we talk people out of it. We'll do something to stop it from going through, right? So if you go to fast track that component of getting known, well, it's going to take you even longer. If it takes 3 to 7 times for them to see and hear you before they start to head in your direction, if you want to do it in that very first hit, trust me, it's going to take about 10 more exposures for you to fix that and move forward. So I actually run in my class, I teach a lot, have a list of people and I write this, just checking in. Haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? Checking that you're not dead. Something similar. It's one sentence. It shows up. But it's you connecting with that person and checking in with them. And it teaches you to really like people because you can't fast track any of that. But if you sort of go, I'm checking in, saying, hey, this is what I'm doing, and you write all this other stuff, well, chances are they're not even reading an email that long anyway. But if you're fast tracking, so I treat everyone as if they're my great-grandmother. So my great-grandmother, years ago when I was 7, we used to write letters back and forth. And so I tell her,
old school.
what are you doing? What's going on? And I'd want to hear from her. And then I would write back what I was doing, right? And I did this for about, 5 years, right? Every week for 5 years. So now when I write to people, I'm already trained in that whole, what are you doing? What's going on? Get that information back. And it's shocking. Some people write back to me. I don't even know who they were. I just had a business card, so we've never met. Don't know which event it was. And then they write back to me. They tell me their whole life is just check in and make sure you're not dead. I start to hear things from people who, my brother died or my sister died or my mom died. I actually start to hear all these things, and I think, I'm still not quite sure who you are, but that's okay. Let's just get into the conversation, and and the whole relationship builds from there. And it's very exciting to meet lots of new people and see the tapestry of what's going on out in the world. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
There is a lot going on. Hey, so let's dive into a little bit deeper into your business. What's the biggest challenge that you've faced over, I guess, your sales career or building the business?
Yeah, getting known by more people. I wrote a book last year, published it. It's called Overcoming Obscurity, because I really worked out what the main problem with all sales in all business is, right? It's not about selling more to the people that walk in the room. It's getting more people to walk in the room, right? Let's have a look at, say, Disneyland, right? Apparently, a number of years ago, the CEO of Disneyland earned something like $56 million. A lot of money, right? But he's not the highest paid from the company. The highest paid from the company was the advertising industry, the advertisers that they paid to get people in the door, because the CEO doesn't get them in the door. He just controls all the people that work underneath, just sort of get that flow happening. But the advertising industry gets them in the door in the first place. So we all think, and we're taught in any particular business, whether it be in retail, in hospitality, any business, just sell to the people who walk in the door. But in actual fact, if you can get people to walk in the door, now you've got this ever flow of, sales possibility, right? So, so the challenge then becomes not how do I convert the person that walked in the door, but how do I get known by more people? Because by default, there's a percentage that are going to buy from you just along the way. So the average sales component, if you look for about 1 out of 10 people to buy, well, if 10 people walk in the door and you're trying to convert them all, Glenn, right? You'll get a certain number of those. So what I'm going to do, if 1 out of 10 will just buy without a huge amount of work from my part, I'll just look to get 100 people walk in the door, and I'll beat you every time, because I'm looking to get known. And what's interesting is at the end of that 100 people, more people are going to talk about me than they are about you. You're going to have 10 people talk about you, but I'm going to have 100 people talk about me. Now, I don't have to work so hard, right? So the more people who know who you are, the better off you are. So when I run a class, I'll say, how many customers do you want? And someone will say, I want 50, or I want 20, or I want, I could probably handle, if it was a coach, I could probably handle, maybe 40 this year. Great, just look for 500. We're not looking, if you want 40 customers, just convert 40 of the people that you already know. Go ahead, work your heart out. It's quite an effort. It can be done, but you've got to work really hard on each one, right? Or for 500, go out, changes the sales problem from converting the people that you already know, because people buy from the people that they know and like, right? So it's so much easier to convert the people that already know you, and yet somehow it's so much harder. So you change the problem from converting the people that you already know to getting known by more people. So then the sales problem becomes, well, where do I find 500 people? How do I get known? Cool. Such a better problem to try and overcome, getting seen and known by more people, right? But along the way, you'll easily collect that 50 or more. And when you hit that 50 and 500 to 1,000 of mark, there'll start to be a tipping point where that group will start to talk about you more, and your name will get known without you doing so much of the effort as well. So get known by more people. So that's always been my biggest problem. If I want to get known by 6 billion people on the planet, well, you kind of got to, if I talk to people, I say, how many customers you got? Network market them. I'd say, I'm not getting enough sales. How many people do you know? Or how many people know you? Oh, look, it's at least 200, 300. 6 billion people on the planet. How does that compare? 200 to 6 billion. It's not enough. So we need to get known by more people.
Do you know what? It's so that's one of the things that's been the biggest challenge for you.
Yeah, just get known by more. Facebook's made it easy. COVID's made it easy. You've got all these Zoom meetings. You can jump into anything, anywhere across the planet now.
We teach people on how to, what is their CRM system looking like? And I remember starting out my business, and people said, hey, listen, you've got to take these cards and people in your meeting and put them into a CRM system, right? And I remember doing that, but I just didn't know why I was doing it. And it was, sort of going, okay, so now I've got like 500, now I've got 1,000, or now I've got 5,000. I still didn't know what to do with them, but I just kept on building the relationships with them. And as my time, I guess, in what I do, there's I think the CRM's got about 16,000 in it there now. But it's still about creating that connection, creating that audience, getting out there. And Zoom does make it easier. I remember doing Zoom presentations to people pre-COVID, and I'd always have to spend the first 5 minutes explaining how Zoom works. And now, when COVID hit, and all of a sudden everybody knows how to work Zoom. You can get straight into it, and you can still create that connection with people, like just you and I just conversing now. Okay, so when you do your work, who is the type of person that you serve the most?
Soul traders.
Soul traders,
yeah.
Is it?
Soul traders. I love soul traders. So going back about 200 years ago, the world functioned beautifully. There was the blacksmiths, the bakers, the candlestick makers. They all work for themselves. So here's an interesting little fact, right? Apparently they worked only up to about 6 hours a day. They might have worked 6 days a week, but only up to 6 hours a day, because the rest of it they spent with their family. They had enough money, they had enough customers, and from the age of 3, for the boys, they got to be in the workshop with dad. So they always had their family around. And so the soul trader is that person who's able to bring in money and still hang out with the family and do all that. So I love that concept. And I still firmly believe, while I've worked a full-time job and my husband's worked full-time jobs, and, we've had kids in and out of daycare and they're now big enough to go to school and things like that, I still firmly believe that a parent should be home. There needs to be one to drop the kids off and pick them up from school. They can, yes, teach them to catch the bus, but be sort of ready at the other end so you can ask them about their day, because they're forgotten. By the time you get home from work, they don't even know that they had a day at school, from any age. They don't remember anything. And so, you get to do that. And if you're around, if you can pick them up or drop them off. COVID is a bit of a killer for me, because dropping the boys off at school, I'm not allowed to take them in anymore. And I was the only person, Simon wasn't allowed, so their dad was allowed. Their nan got to the point where they would go, Nan, just say bye, we'll just run from the car. But I was allowed to go in, I was still able to give them kisses and cuddles. But COVID, because I'm not allowed in, they're like, oh, we can actually just do this without mum. So that was a shame. That sort of cut my, my kisses and cuddles off early. But to be there and then to meet all the other kids. So now, I'm the most favourite mum, because I'm, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should come over. Let's come over. And I feed everybody at 3:30 in the afternoon. So as soon as you get home, I'll cook dinner. So I'll cook the boys dinner, and then I'll cook all their friends dinner. Because what I've learned over time is that children will communal eat. They don't want to eat. They don't want to eat meat. They don't want to eat food or veggies, or they like chicken nuggets, right? But if you want them to do something, and I run all my sales skills back through the kids, right? So if I can get them to do things. And so it's just communal eating. Right, so I'll make all the food, and of course the friends are looking over, going, "Do we have to eat this?" And then my kids are going, "I think so." And then they'll start to eat, and then my kids will start to eat. I drop all the kids off. Parents are like, "God, you didn't have to feed them." Yeah, I did. It was the only way my kids were going to eat without complaint. So and then they end up eating all this stuff that they wouldn't eat normally, and it's I test experiment things, and so yeah, I have fun. So that's why I like the soul trader, because they're around, but the importance of being able to bring money in today's world, everybody has to be able to bring money in. Correct. But the trickle down of learning to be a soul trader and bringing in money, which is why I like them so much, is you now are showing the children that you can do whatever you want in life and earn money just loving it. So while I teach sales, I have those, those phone calls where someone will call up and say, oh, I just want to talk to you about your super and where is it up to? I like to have a bit of fun because, sales trainer and all, give me a sales pitch. No, I'm not going to sell you anything. Give me a sales pitch. What time are you planning? When are you planning on retiring? Well, I'm living till I'm 105. That's the deal I've made with my youngest. Minimum 105. And I plan on working every day until then. Running sales classes, teaching people how to sell, talking at things. And they're like, no, really, when are you planning on retiring? Yeah, I don't see the need to, because I love this and I'm going to do this forever. And, of course, it drives them nuts. So, but the truth is if you're doing something that you like, it's not work anymore. You get to earn some money while you do it. You're helping the rest of the world, but then the children get to learn, oh, so I don't have to go, there's me and 17 other people applying for that one job. And if I don't get it, I'm either going to be jobless or I'm going to have to do that job that I don't want to do. But I think moving forward, there's the opportunity to, you can make money. There's not a single, it's crazy. I mean, all these individuals at networking that do so many different things. I heard of a guy the other day who his job, what he's created is he supplies FPOS machines for events, as in the big machine, it's got the cash in it. Do you know how much money goes in those? So the cash that's in it, so that then people can get cash out and pay at things, pay cash. This guy,
That's his job.
That's his job. That's what he's created. I mean, where do you even get an FPOS machine from? But how cool is that? Like, there's nothing that can't be done. Like, it's pretty exciting to just, the sky's the limit. Your imagination is the only thing that's going to stop you from doing it. And you can basically earn money doing anything that you can think of.
Quick one for you. So who is it in your line of work when you're doing your business? Who is the industry that you find really easy to refer?
I know we were talking about this earlier. Well, I'm meeting a lot of sole traders. So yes, the graphic design industry is good because often they don't have, well, they might have a logo. Maybe they don't have logo or branding. And then they'll have, but sometimes you sort of need flyers or business cards or something to go with that as well. Speaker coaches are good because, everybody, you can get known more if you get to talk. So speaker coaches become...
Do you think all those types of things are necessary before you start teaching people on how to sell? Like, do you think it's important that you have a website or a business card before you actually get out there and sell? Because I mean, the old days you used to have to have a shop, buy the inventory, have it stored in your business, open the doors and let people come in, like the blacksmith, the baker, as you were saying. These days, you don't really have to do that. You don't even have to have inventory, right? Look at Airbnb. All right, you look at Uber. They don't actually have any inventory at all. So, do you think it's necessary that a sole trader needs a business card or needs a website? Or
yes, business card, yes. Website, no. Facebook, no. I mean, Facebook, it's all available on Facebook. Facebook, no. I've gone 8 years, haven't had a website, and 3 weeks ago I made a Facebook page just for the purpose of testing out that whole Facebook Live thing. I have to say I run it very poorly because it's not quite my area. I go out and meet people, but I practice speaking to people. In the end, though, the website is excellent. It will work for you 24/7. Facebook is excellent. It will work for you 24/7. All of this digital stuff will work for you 24/7. However, then you're left doing nothing. And if you're not doing anything, so going out and meeting people, practicing speaking and practicing, say, your sales to other people is very, very important because you're left twiddling your thumbs. And what happens if you're left twiddling your thumbs and going, I wish the phone would ring, waiting for these things to work for you? You start to tweak those digital bits of media. And when you do get work in, you actually don't know where it's coming from now because you don't know, was it the tweak in the post? Was it the original post? Was it because somebody else did something? So you have to learn to speak anyway. And often, so...
people deal business with people, not necessarily.
Yeah, so these things will sort of show who you are to a degree. And but if you can't say who you are, it's the same with referrals. Like B&I is excellent, right? Teaches you how to get referrals, right? Teaches you how to give and get referrals. However, if you don't know how to bring in your own referral and you're the first person who should be working for you, right? Work out how to get in your own referrals. Meaning if you've got a group of people, you've got to learn how to turn them into clients. If you can't work out how to bring in your own referrals, then you can't teach that to somebody else.
Correct. And I think a lot of people just rely on it. When I speak to people, they sort of say, yes, I get referrals. I'm like, okay, well, which industries from? Which people from? Well, our clients. Okay, well, when you start studying those particular clients, you might find they're from a particular industry or a certain type of geographical area or there's some sort of demographic that's similar. And then you can ramp that up if you want to get more. All right, well, let's shift gears a little bit and dive into the section that I like to call lights, camera, action. And this is what a lot of people have been waiting for in the interview. Misty's going to take us through a particular process that, like I said in the title, how do you actually have great conversations with people that generate good sales without selling? Take it away, Misty.
All right. Okay. All right. I've got some notes because I can talk on this like forever. All right.
No. Seriously? Come on. All right.
So basically, we're going to talk.
Can I just say one thing before we start? So if you're listening to this particular chat and you've got a question in regards to sales, just type it in the chat bar, hey, live, or if you're listening to this later on, right, replay. And then I want you to type in, what is your biggest challenge around sales, right? And then at the end of, Misty going through, 10 to 12 minutes, then we'll come back and we'll try and answer as many of those questions as we can. Does that sound like a deal, Misty? Would you help?
Yep,
Would you help out the audience?
Oh,
All
I'll
right,
absolutely help out the audience. That's
cool.
my
All right, take it away.
All right, so going to look into what are the conversations or sort of how to convert your current contact list, right? Because the truth is, people come to me all the time and they say, Missy, I've got to come out networking because I need more customers. And I'll say, how many have you got? I don't know. Well, how many do you need? How many do you want? Well, then how many do you need? And the truth is they don't necessarily. So how many people know who you are and what you do? So everybody has this list of contacts, right? You can go to your phone, you'll have however many. You go Facebook, you go LinkedIn, like they're everywhere, right? So you've got a list, right? But if you haven't converted anyone, if they're not either buying from you or sending referrals to you, then I promise you they don't know what you do at all. Right? They think they do, and herein lies the trouble. We assume that people know what we're doing, but they don't. And mostly that's because we describe it poorly, right? I say very simply, I am a sales trainer. I will teach you how to sell your thing, very specifically. That's all that I do. Now, people might not want a sales trainer, and they might not like the idea of having a sales trainer, but the truth is that's what I do, is I'll teach you how to sell, right? So being able to say it very simply so the other person gets it, they might not like it, but so they get it, is so very important. If you sell face cream, let's say you're an Arbonne consultant, network marketing, Arbonne consultant, right? You say, oh, I work for Arbonne, or, I'm a Arbonne distributor. Nobody knows what it means. What that means is I sell face cream. So I help people with face cream. So if you like to, make face looking good and everything else, you do that. So you've got to say very simply, this is what I do. I do so many other things. I'm sure you do. But if you say it really simply now, one is I could possibly buy, or two is I can pass your message on to somebody else. All right. So how you convert is how you say what it is that you do. So you've got to be able to say what you do really, really simply so that the other person gets it. Okay. So mostly what's going to happen is you're going to have a group of people that are standing in front of you that need to know one simple message. Pick one thing that you sell. So again, if you're I'm going to go back to Arbonne because it's just easy, right? They sell face cream, they sell shampoo, they sell toothpaste, they sell inner health, gut health type, fizz sticks and drinks and things like that. They say, oh, I sell so many things. They do sunscreen, sell so many things. Just pick one thing. Better to have sell one product to thousands of customers than 1,000 products to one customer. No, better to have 1,000 people talk about you. And if all you ever do is sell one thing to thousands of people, at least you're collecting thousands of customers. You can always sell them a second thing later. So people get caught up in the whole, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. Pick one thing. So when you're out talking to people, you want to just speak on one thing only. You want to get known for one thing. When you're out, say, having a one-to-one with someone, you can expand on that. But if you're doing an elevator pitch for 30 seconds or, just get known for one simple thing. And at least that group can spread the word over there, and you can go and tell your own personal people, the thousands of things that you do. But get known for one thing, because you can expand off of that if more people come to you on one thing, right? So what do we say? So say simply what it is that you do, and if you have a number of things that you sell, pick one of them. Have a think of in terms of what's the most favourite thing that you sell, because the truth is you can't sell the things that you don't like. So you pick your most favourite. I remember having one consultant, she did the creams and everything else. She's blind. Amanda's fantastic, and she's blind. And I used to go over there and I'd have a look at her stuff and go, why do you have lipstick? It's because you can't see it. How do you know what colour is good for someone? This is not a good product for you to sell because you can't give an opinion on it, right? Whereas face cream, you can feel it, and know what it is. Correct. But lipstick. So someone would have to tell her what lipstick she should wear, but, she couldn't really consult with someone on their lipstick. So I've gone, so don't, you can sell it, but don't have it as something that you're going to try and sell. It wasn't really an appropriate product. All right, so say what you do simply. Pick one thing. All right, learn to deliver the price, right? Let's say with me.
I think this is an area that a lot of people actually struggle on. And for me, as soon as they start to stutter or struggle around that, it
Thank you.
gives me an in sort of going, great, we're open to negotiation because you're not comfortable with charging whatever that is. And I'm like, great, I reckon I can get a discount here.
Yeah. So learn to deliver the price without discounting. Until you can deliver the price, you do not get the option to discount, to package, to do any of that, right? Now, here's the system. Here's how it works. Here's the truth. Everybody holds emotion around money because we all want it. We all want more, right? We all have it to a degree. We've spent it badly most of the time. We wish we had more for something else. We wish we had it saved. Sometimes we sell it, buy it on a good thing. You know, like, so the truth is we never have as much as we want. We always want more. Otherwise we would, right? But your emotion around money, I have absolutely no interest in your emotion around money. So Glenn, let's say you were an artist and I said, hey, how much is it for to get that painting that you've done over there? If you go, well, your emotion around money is one, none of my business, not what I asked for. I actually don't care. And now you've turned me off. So products and services do sell themselves, but we send people elsewhere. We turn them away because of mostly our delivery on that price. So you've got to turn money into a thing. It's a fact. Truth is I can't buy something if I don't know how much it is. Because I don't know which card I'm using. I don't know which bank account. I don't know, I don't know what it's going to be, right? So even when I do the grocery shopping, I have a budget. I have a shopping list. I know exactly how much it's going to cost me. And yet I never put anything in the trolley until I look at that price. Isn't that interesting, right? So we all want to know what the price is before we chuck it in the basket, right? Always, right? So if you want referrals, right, I'll give you one. If you want referrals, let's say, Glenn, you were a photographer. So going back in the day, I got this beautiful picture taken from me. Okay, shows I pull it here, but I got this beautiful picture taken of me, right? Told everyone, I'm like, oh, it's amazing. No, woman, her name is Jolly, who did it. She's amazing, got this amazing picture, right? Now, if they said, how much does it cost? If I can't, you should get a picture taken. Now, if you, Glenn, say it was you taking the picture, if I said, how much does it cost to get a picture taken? You go, I'll show you what I can do. And, most people want to defer that answer because they're worried how people will react to it. Now, if I went away and said to a friend, so I know someone who said, oh, Missy, hey, I like this photographer over here and took great pictures. I talked to them. I really want my picture taken. I told all my friends should get pictures taken from this person over here. And I said, oh, yeah, cool. How much does it cost to get your picture taken? She said, I don't know. I asked, but, I didn't actually find out. All right, so how many of your friends have you told this weekend that they should get their picture taken too? She said, none. I said, why not? She said, actually, because I don't know the price. Because here's the thing, if I said to my sister, hey, Joanna, I know, we should get some family photos done. Let's go get some family photos. I found the person who's going to be the exact right person to take those pictures. What's the first question she's going to ask?
How much?
How much does it cost, right? And I'm going to say, I don't know. Well, then why are you telling me? Why are you telling me, right?
She's certainly not going to engage that person without knowing.
No.
Like I said, they're not going to put it into the basket. And whether or not she doesn't know whether or not she needs to save up for that, or it's something she's got in the back pocket, or it's, because I can take a photo just on an iPhone, $50, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be photographer quality, 3,000.
Exactly. So if I find out that my sister hasn't got a will made yet, she's got 2 kids and a husband, right? 2 kids who are 20 years old. If I was to find out that she didn't have a will made yet, and of course I meet wills and estate attorneys, gone, I found someone who can do that will for you. What's she going to say? How much does it cost? I don't know. You should call them. She said, I'm not going to call them. Find out how much it is and I'll look into it, right? It's the first thing that we want to know, right? So the delivery of that price is so important. So 2 things here is it's just a fact, right? So here in Canberra today, it's apparently 17 degrees. I know this because I looked it up, right? But it's raining out, right? So before I get out of bed or before I get dressed, might have a shower and everything, and then I get out my thing and I look at the weather, go, what's the temperature today? And it's going to be raining and it looks grey out. You know what? I'm just going to carry a jacket with me because I might need it. Because if I step outside without this jacket and I'm cold, my whole day is ruined, right? If I find that come lunchtime, the sun is going to come out, it's going to be 27 degrees and it's just been raining, right? And I go out completely dressed, not in a jacket, but long sleeve shirt and jeans, everything else. And I step out and the sun comes out and it's going to be all muggy and everything. It's going to ruin my day because I'm wearing the wrong thing. So I need to know this stuff. The price is the same. If I don't know what the price is the way you deliver it, it's going to ruin my day if you can't just deliver that price. So know your prices and deliver it as if it's a fact. And the answer comes down to this. Let's say it was, Misty, how much does it cost for personal sales classes? $250 a session. Now from here, I just have to remain silent while I let that person think about it. So while they're thinking about it, I just don't say anything. So they go, oh, great. Okay, I think I might need 1 session. I think I might need 3 sessions. Great, I'm going to tell my sister because now I can tell her because she needs some help. Like you don't actually know what's in the customer's head. What happens is in that moment of silence, because they don't respond straight away, we as the salesman, we panic. And when we panic, we start to talk. And this is what you get, and you get this and you get that. The other person says, thanks very much, because they got confused. You didn't stop talking. They got confused. And so because they were confused, they've gone, that was really interesting. Then they go. And then the salesman says, they didn't like it. They make up stories. They didn't like it. They didn't like the price. They didn't value me. They didn't value themselves. They don't understand what they're buying. They don't like the product. No, you didn't be quiet and let them think and make an informed decision. Now, see how we were chatting earlier and said get known by more people? If you have more people who know who you are and you learn to deliver that price thing and go silent, it won't matter if many people don't buy because there'll be a few in there. If you only have 5 people standing in front of you, you get a bit panicky. Oh, my God, I must get those 5 to buy, right? So the system will still work. If you deliver the price and then be quiet while they think, you allow that option for them to sort of jump in if they're ready or maybe collect it for somebody else. But yeah, silence.
Do you think that comes with confidence? I mean, I remember when I first started my speaking career, and to get known, I just went and spoke at all these free events. It was actually a bunch of Rotary events. And then I was really booked out. I was speaking 2-3 times a week. And then someone said, well, I said actually to the person who said, get out there speaking, I said, how do I actually turn it in from speaking? Because actually what I mean is to get paid for speaking. They said, oh, well, just write an invoice. And I said, no, you don't understand. Rotary don't pay. And he said, well, that's a different problem, Glenn. All right, but send them an invoice. Anyway, he said, but just mark it complimentary because it's Rotary and you understand that. And then they started introducing me as, hi, here's Glenn Kirkwood. We've got him speaking. He normally charges $250 a speaking engagement, but today he's speaking to us for free. The very first one, a guy comes up to me at the end of the session and says, hey, I know you spoke today for free, but could you come and speak at our company? Because I've got $250, but I've got a sales team that doesn't understand about referrals. And I'm like, sure. So I actually rang back the contact and went, it worked. I didn't get paid from the Rotary, but I did get paid from a referral that I got. And then I got too many of those.
And you could get paid because they knew the price.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
They can think you're great, and they're not going to ask you the price. They're going to sit there all panic going, oh, God, I really want to know, but I don't want to ask.
This guy's great, but I don't want to ask. That's right. And then I got so many of those that then I actually put it up to, I think I went from 250. I was flat out busy. And then I just quoted a figure that was just really, honestly, it was just out of my ass. And I just sort of went, $2,000. And he said, okay. And so I just went from $250 to $2,000 based on what you were saying before. I just sort of went, I charge $2,000. And he went, okay, all right, we can do that. And I guess he was just calculating, can he make that work, or how would he make that work within his budget, or, how would he explain it to, his business partner? And then after that, that kept on happening for a little while. And then I went from, I actually approached a lady called Hazel Walker, and it was for a large corporate gig, and they wanted some, I guess, a training and also a talk at an annual event. And so I worked out, well, what was the budget? There was, people flying in from all parts of the world, and then I charged $6,000 for the gig and $18,000 for the workshop. But if you bought both, then I would do it for $20,000. All right. And the same thing again, I just sort of said, so 6,000 for this, 18,000 for that. I bundle it up and it'd be 20,000 for both. And I walked out of that meeting and they said, yes. And so I struggled as I was driving back to the office, and I rang my contact and said, you'll never guess, Hazel, they took both. And I just find it really funny that, last week I got paid 2,000. I deliver this type of education in BNI for free all the time, and now I'm just going to get $20,000 for the same thing. All right. So a lot of what you were just sort of saying then in regards to those tips, exactly right. I didn't hesitate. I told them the price. I let them make the decision. And the ones that don't, self-select, I've had people, the timing wasn't right. So they came back, 3, 6, 12 months down the track. So, sorry, I just thought that was just a relevant point to add a story towards validating what you say to be true. Because, I remember times in my career when I went, oh, but you get this coaching and you get this and we do 2 hours of this and 4 hours of that. And when it happened for me,
I don't want that.
I was sort of going, just shut up for a sec. I'm just thinking. I didn't say that I don't like your price. I just said, okay, how am I going to explain that to the wife? Or how am I going to explain this one to such and such,
Yeah. So there is a system, right? So confidence, you said, is it about confidence? Well, yes, but confidence comes from having a system. So if you have a system, so deliver the price and remain silent and let the customer come back to you. Now, here's what you need to know in regards to sales. More people won't buy than will buy. It's just how it is. Think of your Rotary group, right? You get up, you stand in front of 30 people. One person at the end says, hey, Glenn, I think I want that. Because the price was delivered and one person comes up and says, Glenn, I want that.
Correct.
But notice that 29 didn't at that time, right? They were collecting the information that was going in, right? Think of Apple when the iPhone came out, right? First time the iPhone or the iPad came out, even the Harry Potter books, right? People lined up for at least 24, 48 hours in advance out the front of the Apple shop waiting to be there. Now, I can guarantee you every single person that was waiting there, they were not leaving without buying a phone, right? So in that instance, it looks like, well, actually, Misty, more people did buy than didn't buy. Every person left with having bought something from the shop. Yes, but compare it to 6 billion people on the planet. Most people stayed home watching the news. Right? So as long as you know this, right, is more people won't buy than will buy, then you're okay. Because you know that if you didn't convert everyone, well, so long as you've done the steps of talking about it, right, the opportunity's gone in. You've got two sorts of customers, those that buy and those that promote. We wish we had more that bought, right? But the truth is we need more people to promote us. So if they can at least pass the message on over time, that will come back to us as well, right? So as long as you know that more people won't buy than will buy, all you have to do is deliver the information and just let that happen. Deliver it more and more, right? So
and not get worried about if they don't buy. As you said, this is the sales system.
Yeah.
Because you're understanding those numbers.
Yeah. To sell without selling is you've got to get over the fact that not everyone's going to buy in one hit, right? And that's okay. And that's life. That's the actual system. That's how it is. I didn't invent this system. God set it up that way, and we just kind of have to go with it. It's just nature's way, right? More people won't buy than will buy, and that's fine, right?
So if we talk about the catch on the tagline of this particular show, how to have great conversations that generate good sales, that last point that you just mentioned really solves that situation, doesn't it? Just have great conversations with people. Just continue to have great conversations. They will lead into good sales because you know that more people won't buy than will buy, right? But you're still having very good conversations at each one of those particular presentations or conversations. Yep.
Exactly. And inside that conversation is you've been able to deliver very simply what it is that you do. You've been able to pick something that goes in there. You can deliver the price without fidgeting. So just deliver the price, full price. There is no discount. You just deliver the price. Like you said, you didn't discount. You kept going up to $20,000. Let's go from 200 to 2,000 to 20. Let's just see what happens, right? Price goes up. You deliver the price. Let them, and then silence while they think, right? Now, here's something, and I want everybody to write this down, right? In traditional sales training or in the business world, This is how you're pretty much taught on how to convert a customer or how to sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is ask really good questions so you can qualify the client and then give them the solution that works well for them, which is kind of like saying, you know, give the features and benefits, right? Which you don't need to do if you go silent. Give the price, because that's what they ask for. Go silent. You don't need the features and benefits. You need to let them think, right? So they say, ask good questions. What's a good question? You know what a good question is. You don't know what they need yet, right? So if you flip the whole thing, answer their question as simply and as easily as possible, as fast as possible, and go silent while they think. I promise you they'll come back with a new question. So let's run this, Glenn. Right?
If it doesn't make sense, absolutely. But if it makes sense, then they're good.
But see, here's the thing. If you go silent and it doesn't make sense to them, they'll come up with something, right? So to say, how much does it cost for a referral package from you, Glenn? You can say any particular price, right?
No, it's $3,300.
Silent, right? I always go, oh, let's say you said 20 grand, right? 20 grand for a custom built referral package, right? And I go 20 grand. And then I'll be there going, I don't know that I asked a good question because I don't know what that means. What do I get? So my next question, what do I get for 20 grand? Oh, that's a good question. You know, so now it's like, well, where do you want me to start? Okay, well, then what's the time frame to build it? See how, if you cut it down really simply, because what do I get for 20 grand? You can unleash again a whole bunch load of stuff, but it may not be relevant. So you put it back on the customer, right? So what do I get for 20 grand? Where do you want me to start? How long will it take to build this system? Oh, well, it might take, you know, for $20,000, it might take, you know, a week. You're still not getting much from the customer, but, you know, it might take a week. So, you know, are you going from zero to stuff? Like, how many do you want? You know, you might say, you know 5,000 referrals, great. From zero to that, it could take about this much. That might be all that the customer needs. They don't need bunch loads. So if you throw it, go silent, let the customer keep coming back to you. More often than not, the customer will keep asking you questions until they've gotten sort of what they need. And they'll take you down a rabbit hole they need, not you try to invent, you know,
correct.
Try to work a rabbit hole.
Sometimes that's a great point for anybody listening to the show, is that sometimes I find that they answer different questions to the ones that I've asked. And so I find myself sort of saying, okay, Misty, I just want a yes or a no, all right? Or I just want a short answer on this one. And I will ask another question. And then they still go on about it. I'm like, okay, you've just turned me off now. But I agree with you there. Just answer that specific question. Okay?
Yeah.
It would take 3 months.
If you're a coach, this works beautifully for coaches. So I had a guy, he's a dad coach, right? And I had him come through. He used to run these 6-week sales classes. And he come through, and one of the classes was on price, right? Deliver the price. If someone says, how much is it? Only deliver that. But don't tell them what it goes for this long and this and this. And just say, you know, how much does it cost? I'm going to be a new dad and I need some help with that. How much does it cost? And the answer was $900. Now, it probably come with 3 months worth of training and all this other stuff, but that's not what he asked. He said, how much does it cost? $900. The truth is, it's not for 3 months worth of training. It was for a result. If the guy wants to fast track it, he could pay $900, get the result in 2 days if that's what he really wants. He doesn't need 3 months. So anyhow, then I had Brendan come back second time to sort of teach what he'd learnt from delivering the price to the next group, right? And he said, oh my God, he said, I can't tell you how good this is. He said, I had someone email me and say, right, Brendan, how much does it cost to get dad coaching from you? And he said, I wrote $900 and I wrote this big long, and you get this and you get this, and I'm going to call you every day. I'm going to send you emails. And he said, I'm looking at it going, this is going to kill me if I send that. And he said, it just about killed him. He said he deleted everything and just wrote $900 and emailed back. He said the guy wrote back and said, great, when can we start? See, you say $900 and then give the big long list, which is not what they asked. They might go, I don't want any of that. And I actually only wanted one session, get it done. And if I'm paying for all of that, but I don't need it, then clearly I'm getting overcharged, because I think they're paying for the stuff, but they're never paying for the stuff. They're paying for the outcome.
For the result. Yeah,
they pay for the result, like every time. All right, so then it leads to one other thing, right? So this is sort of heading off the great conversations, but I do want to add this in because it's very, very cool, right? every comment that a customer makes, you've got to treat it as a complaint and not as an objection. So I'll give you this, right? Glenn, how much does it cost for, and you can say 20 grand, right? Because just for the purpose of pretending, right? Glenn, how much does it cost to create a custom built referral system for me to get like hundreds and hundreds of referrals? How much does that cost?
20 grand.
20 grand? What are you joking? 20 grand? Right. Now see that? Most people, almost everyone, will treat that as an objection. Oh my God, they don't want to pay 20 grand. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to, let me just have a look. Well, let me see what I can do for you. Hang on a second. And then they get all panicky. They start to look to discount and they don't like the price. Here's the answer to that, right? 20 grand. It's like, yeah, I know, 20 grand, right? But that's how much it costs to get the thing done that you want. He goes, oh. I'm like, well, if that's how much it costs, then I'm going to have to look at, you know what can I get for 10 grand? And you might go, you know what, half the thing. Oh, well, maybe that will work, right? So if you treat it as a complaint, here's the truth, right? You could say, nothing, it's going to be free. Free? Are you joking? Free? And I'm going to get all these referrals? I'm going to complain anyway. So long as you treat comments as complaints and not objections, do you agree with them? I know. How much does it suck? It's going to cost you money, regardless of which way you want to do it. It's going to cost something. Oh.
So treat it as a, sorry, say that again. So treat it as a complaint.
Not an objection. So you don't need to go through the benefits and the features and what they're getting. You just agree with them. I know, it sucks, it costs money. I'll give you another example. I've got a girl in my group classes, and she's a physiotherapist, right? And she only does it online. She helps people who have arthritis walk up and down the stairs, right? So older people that got arthritis, they get a bit frightened to go anywhere because there's stairs in case they've toppled down and break a leg and now stuck in a wheelchair forever, right? So she helps them do that. Anyhow, she had this one guy that she was online chatting to, and he said, you know, Tess, I just wish that we could do this face to face. She said, prior to learning about comments and objections, she said, I would have always treated it as an objection. I would have said to him, look, if you really want to do it face to face, I completely understand if you don't want to do it online, because she teaches everything online, right? So she said, you know, she said, I would have said, look, I understand if you don't want to do it online. So if you want to do it face to face, here's where I suggest you go. And she literally gave him a referral to go to a clinic where he could walk into a clinic. All right. She said, but after running going to this one class and treating comments as complaints, she said, I know, I wish we could do it face to face too, but we can't. And because she went silent and he could think, he's gone, well, then we're just going to have to do it online. She said, I can't believe it.
He talked himself into it.
Yeah. She said he was already there, right? And because she didn't give him now a Part B option, he could say, well, I want someone. Cool. Now she can look into referring. But actually, he just wanted to complain about it. And so she agreed. It truly sucked, but that's not how it can be done. And so then he signed up. She said, every single time, I cannot believe how, if I treat it as a complaint, every single time they sign up. So again, we'll talk our way out of a sale. The silence is so good. And then just knowing a couple of things. So then, okay, so we're going back. So that was just my sales tip for everybody. Like seriously, take that one, treat it as a complaint, not an objection. And it will, 99% of the time, you're getting across the line. All right. So our great conversation, what we say? Say simply what is it you do. Pick one thing that you can talk about so that other person can at least retain that information and pass it on to someone else. Know your price and deliver it as if it's a fact. And so you deliver it without emotion. It's just, it is what it is. It costs 20 grand to get a referral system done. It costs $250 for personal sales classes. That's price, right? Right. And then remain silent, right? Now, if you do those things, mostly you convert. Now, then, of course, it comes down to that list of people that you've got, right? So most people don't know any of this. So then how you do this back through your list of people that you already have before you go out and collect extra people, right, is you write a list of every single person that you know, and then you call them up and you say, hey, I'm wondering if you can help me for 5 minutes. I need to practice telling people what it is that I do. So can you help me? Can I just practice for 5 minutes with you? Now, the other person is going to say, I already know what you do. Yeah, I know. but I need to practice it. Can you give me 5 minutes? Now, the reason I say, can you help me? We will help people all day long, but we do not want help. So let's say I was really, really crook. I had some, sort of sleeping issue. And then a woman comes along who's really good at helping with sleep stuff. And she might say, hey, Misty, I might have a solution that can help you. I'll just go, yeah, no, it's all right. I've got it. Like, I'm doing these things and I've Googled this and I've done this and I'm speaking to professionals over here. Like, I'm not going to listen. I might go, you know what, you can tell me what it is. I'll take it on board. But mostly I want to help myself. We're independent-minded bunch of people these days, so we're going to help ourselves. We'll collect the info, but we'll do it ourselves, right? But if she comes to me and she says, hey, Misty, so she might pin me as the perfect client because I'm having sleep issues, right? So if she comes up to me, she says, hey, Misty, I'm just wondering, can you help me with something for 5 minutes? I have to practice saying what it is that I do, and I just need a nice person to just practice with. So can I just, for 5 minutes, tell you what it is that I do, and you tell me at the end what you understood from that to make sure I'm on the right track. And of course, I'm going to help because people like to help other people. We don't want the help, but we'll help, right? So that makes me listen to every single thing that she says. She can run a little thing for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm going to listen and go, really? That's what you do? I didn't know that. That's very cool. I might need what you've got. But if she had have offered the help, I'm not going to listen at all.
Correct.
Right? So people don't know what you do because they assume that they know and you agree with them. So we forget to tell people what we're doing, which is why now nobody knows anything about anybody, right? So I practiced this with a mortgage broker. He came to my very first set of classes. And I said, I want you to write a list of everyone that you know. I said, if they're not getting their mortgage done with you and they're not sending you referrals. And I asked a simple question. I said, how many friends and family members get their mortgage done through you? He said, none. I said, why not? He said, because they don't want me to look through their financial records. Bollocks. They don't know what you do. They don't understand. And he's like, no. Trust me, they don't. So anyhow, that week, he had to go away and then call people and say, can I practice for 5 minutes? He comes back and he says, I have to tell you this story, Misty. He said, so he's a mortgage broker firm, right? And this was a number of years ago. He'd started with this particular firm. And he said, he went back to the firm and he said, it's summer and it's cricket. And I've noticed that watching the cricket, all these hundreds of thousands of people watch cricket here in Australia, and there's no mortgage broking ads on with the cricket. So I reckon we should make an ad and then put that in the cricket so that then they can see it, right? So then this guy become the face of the company. He went in and did the ad, become the face of the company. He did the ad, right? So a mate of his calls him up during the week, right? The week he's supposed to be telling people, calls him up during the week. He says, mate, I've just seen you on an ad. What are you, like a mortgage broker or something? He goes, yes. He goes, no. How long have you been doing that for? He goes, 10 years. No. And I'm going, he said, but Missy, that's not the biggest part, the problem of it. He said, this guy is one of my best friends for over 10 years. Every 6 months, for 3 days, me and him and a group of other guys go on a 3-day golf trip twice a year for the last 10 years. And he didn't know what I did. And he said, what's even more embarrassing is I actually don't know what he does. And now I wasn't game enough to ask him. There you go. People don't know. So you've got
great tips. Some great sharing there. Hey, anybody who thinks that you don't need a system, that's ridiculous, because I've just learned so much from that particular I guess Facebook Live. So I really appreciate that, Misty. How would people get to know more about you? What would they do?
Well, I can be found on Facebook. I'm the girl with the crown.
Really?
So
Okay.
I've got a picture holding my crown. So I'm underneath Misty Henkel. That's my personal page because that's all that I've ever used. And then I've just made up a new one, Misty Henkel Sales Trainer. You can find me on LinkedIn, but honestly, I don't know how to use it. So it's not really my area at the moment. So go to Facebook, find me that way. You can find me through Messenger that way. I run classes. So I have a group sales class. It's this is gonna kill you, absolutely kill you, Glenn. It's $75 for 12 months, and you can come to as many classes as you like. I run 5 classes a week, right? But I'm building it on numbers. I'm working on this little theory and experiment.
Sorry,
$75 for a year.
$75 for a year.
And you come in, yes, and you practice your sales, because you are going to practice your sales. It's just that usually you'll practice your sales with your customer. So I put you in a group and we'll learn some stuff about sales and you're going to practice inside the group, right? So you'll practice things like delivering your price and being silent and, right, $75 for you. So I'm running this experiment, right? YouTubers, from the moment that they start their YouTube channel, right, they want 1 million subscribers. They've got 0 and they want 1 million, right? So I use, if anyone's heard of Ethan Gamer TV, he's young kid, started at 7, 2013. He just started filming himself playing Roblox and Minecraft, and then he would put it out on YouTube, right? He had no subscribers and he said, I want 1 million, right? So this is all YouTubers will do the same thing, right? They are doing volunteer work. They get paid nothing to make the video, do all the editing, and post it up there for everybody else's general entertainment. And they're looking for 1 million subscribers, right?
Yeah.
And they pay nothing for it, right? They're not selling anything. They're just giving away entertainment, right? And so anyhow, it took him 10 months to get his first 1,000 subscribers, right? It took him another 3 months to get 5,000. Another 3 months, he got to 100,000, and then it took about another 10 months before he got his million, right? 7 years later, he's got $2.5 million. Now, have a guess. How much money do you reckon the guy earns? Glenn, do you reckon?
I got no. Well, you said have a guess. $1 million a year? Maybe.
I don't know, right? We don't actually know. We have a guess. We assume that YouTubers actually make money, and probably does because he's famous, right? He's famous across the world in that particular demographic, right? Have a guess what he sells, because he still makes the videos and sends it out for free. He still does volunteer work, charity work, right? He wants to go out and he wants to come up with a way to make lots of people feel good, right? He teaches you how to play Minecraft, a bunch of other games. That's all for free. Have a guess what he sells.
T-shirts?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, right.
One thing, a logo on a T-shirt. That's it. And he happens to do it by the way. And he goes, I just got a new logo done, like I've been doing it for 5 years and this is, I've gone, oh, sure, I'm going to look into that. I'll get a T-shirt for Noah because he likes him, right? That's the only thing he sells is a logo on a T-shirt, right? One thing. Isn't that interesting? Makes all his money from one thing. Now, here's the other thing, right? Because then people come back and they say, yeah, but Misty, here's lots of money because people now pay him so that they can have ads on his channel. Yeah, okay. But he didn't apply for that job. He's not asking for it because he's well known. People are going to him. Think of Michael Jackson years and years and years ago, right? Anyone that's ever known Michael Jackson knows the famous Pepsi ad that he was on. He was asked by Pepsi, can you come and do an ad, right? Now, Michael Jackson's known for singing, dancing, entertaining. Pepsi went to him because of his fame, went to him and said, hey, can we pay you to be in our ad? Think of Michael Jordan. Can we pay you to endorse Nike for us? Think of any movie star, right? They get asked, can I pay you to do this job for me? But they're not applying for the jobs. They're not asking for them. So the more people that you know, so I generally work on with people, the magic 500, get 500 in the group, you make, $35,000, 500 people, 1,000 people in the group, make 75,000. What if I got 1 million? I've had 1 million, $75 million. Do you think that's enough? I think it's enough. I think that's plenty, right? So sales is numbers. Most people are working on, let's do a really high priced product and see if I can convert a couple of people. Go the other way. All right, I'm going to test it on a really low price. I'll give you lots of stuff, right? So really low price thing. But if I can get lots and lots of people, let's look for 1 million people. YouTubers want 1 million. Why wouldn't I want 1 million, right? So if I'm working on massive numbers, you'll find that the money's sitting behind everything. Get known by more people. It will all work for you in the end. It's just maths.
Correct.
It'll all work for you in the end. So, so I run a group sales class. It's $75 for the year. We're working on massive numbers here, so it's a lot of fun. You get to meet lots of new people. I can, yes, I can put a link in that. Otherwise, I do personal sales classes, so I do sales health checks. They're $300, just come in, or a personal sales class, $250. For if you just want your own personal class, I just need to know where I'm at and where I need to go, so that's personal classes. And I wrote a book, sales book, Overcoming Insecurity, how to get known by more people so you make more money, right? $30. Send it out to you in the post. So 3 things is all I sell. But the group is the main thing. I get more people in the group and we get to have a lot of fun playing and doing classes.
Hey, Misty, thank you so much for contributing to the show today. Is there one final thing you'd like to say?
Yes, actually, I was listening to last week's or 2 weeks ago your Better Business. It was a lady from New Zealand, and you
Sarah
asked her.
said,
Yeah. And you said, does she have a quote? And I had one for you. So I just
oh,
want to.
you do.
Yeah.
Let me read it out. Your favorite quote.
Well, I've got a new one, but yeah, okay, go for it.
Okay. Well, the one you gave me was, you can only fight the way you practice.
Oh, yeah, the boys started with karate.
Okay, so what's your one now?
Yeah. So in regards to this, that brings it all in the theme is if you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want.
That's great. Thank you very much, Misty. My name is Glenn Kirkwood, aka That Referral Guy, signing off with a reminder to make, build, and share connections, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye for now.
See you.